Harry Potter has loads of magical items, okay? Invisibility cloaks, time turners, the Elder Wand. But what about potions? I think potions are drastically underused and underappreciated in the Harry Potter universe. Like, these are literally magical drinks that can make you lucky, or turn you into someone else, or force you to tell the truth. So I asked you lot on Instagram which potions were your favourite. And your answers were interesting. Some of you said Amortentia, which is a problem. Some of you said Felix Felicis was the obvious best potion, but I disagree. There are a bunch of downsides with that potion. So today I'm going to rank 12 of the most powerful potions in Harry Potter, starting with the most problematic potion in the wizarding world. So we're starting with Amortentia, the most powerful love potion in existence. It smells unique to everyone who smells it based on what they find most attractive. Let me know in the comments what your Amortentia would smell like. Mine would be lemongrass, honeycomb, and petrichor, which is only a word I know what it means because of Doctor Who. So look, not to be dramatic, but Amortentia should be illegal in the wizarding world. It's basically the removal of consent. Like, if somebody doesn't like you, love potion makes them like you. They become infatuated, and who knows what they would do. You give someone love potion, they fall in love with you, or they become smitten with you for a while. So you could ask them to copy their homework, to throw a Quidditch match for you, or something much more sinister, like exactly what happens with Merope Gaunt and Tom Riddle Sr. We see how dangerous this is when Ron accidentally eats those chocolates that were meant for Harry from Romilda Vane, and Ron becomes obsessed with her despite having never met or spoken to her in his life. And it's played for laughs a little bit in the movie and in the book, but it's genuinely disturbing to watch. And the fact that Fred and George sell love potions in their joke shop like they're just harmless pranks, mental. Like, they're not funny. They are a violation of someone's free will. So would I want this? Absolutely not. Even ignoring how unethical it is, any feelings created by Amortentia are fake. You'd know the person doesn't actually like you, you just drugged them. And so when it wears off, they're probably going to hate you for what you did. There's a fan theory that Voldemort doesn't understand love because he was conceived under the effects of a love potion. If that's true, this potion literally created the series' main villain. Lots of downsides. Amortentia is going straight into D tier. It's powerful, but it's evil, and it shouldn't exist. So next up is Baruffio's Brain Elixir. This one is mentioned briefly in the Order of the Phoenix as a potion that increases your intelligence or your concentration. But Hermione very quickly suggests that it doesn't actually work. Now, Hermione's smart, but she also didn't believe Harry when he said he could see the Thestrals. Was that just a movie detail? Was that in the books? I can't remember. Either way, Hermione can be wrong about things, so maybe she's wrong about this. So look, we barely know anything about this potion. Does it actually make you smarter? Does it help you focus? How long does it last? What are the side effects? It kind of sounds on the surface like that pill from the movie Limitless, which unlocks your full brain power. The fact that it's barely referenced suggests it's either really difficult to make, has terrible side effects, or just doesn't work that well. Maybe it gives you a splitting headache, or makes you crash afterwards, or turns your brain to mush if you use too much. Without more information, it's hard to get excited about Baruffio's Brain Elixir. It sounds useful in theory, but if it was actually good, I'm sure we would have heard about it more. So this is going in D tier. It's a nice idea, but there's probably a reason nobody talks about it. Like, it sounds great. If I could create a potion for anything, I would definitely want one to help with my focus. Something to help me stop procrastinating. I'm awaiting an assessment for ADHD, so I'd probably also want one that could fully recharge me instead of needing sleep. Because as much as I love sleeping, imagine how much you could do with an additional 8 hours every day. I'd also want one that could help me if I had a few too many butterbeers or fire whiskies, so that I didn't feel too rough the next day. Like, I don't really drink too much anymore, but my girlfriend and I, fiance now, I suppose, we had our engagement party last week, and I had a few more drinks than I usually do. Thankfully, there is something like a little potion that really helped, and that is ZBIOTICS pre-alcohol probiotic, the world's first genetically engineered probiotic, which was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. So here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut, and it's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for feeling rough the next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break that byproduct down. And I have to say, it's been a game changer for me. Like, the night of my engagement party, I made sure to drink ZBIOTICS as my first drink of the evening, and honestly, I woke up the next morning feeling much better than I expected. There was no rough morning that I usually get after a night like that. I was able to get right back into reading Harry Potter, working on my videos, staying productive. Like, the last thing that I want is to lose a day feeling rough, when I could be making a video like this one. And ZBIOTICS has let me enjoy celebrating special occasions like my engagement party while still keeping my routine going the next day. So just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Check out ZBIOTICS using the link in the description. They are sponsoring today's video, and if, like Hagrid, you are partial to a fire whiskey or two, I genuinely think you'll love how this works. Right. Polyjuice Potion. This one's a big deal. So Polyjuice obviously lets you transform into any other person for about an hour, as long as you have a bit of their hair or nail or basically any part of them to put in the potion. We see it used loads through the series. Hermione brews it in her second year to question Draco about the Chamber of Secrets. Barty Crouch Jr. uses it all through the 4th book to impersonate Mad-Eye Moody for an entire school year. And the Order uses it for the 7 Potters plan. And the transformation is almost complete. While you don't get their voice, you do get their appearance, their height, their build. Harry becomes a completely different person when he drinks Polyjuice Potion to look like a ministry worker in the Deathly Hallows. Here's where it gets dark. Polyjuice Potion is basically just magical identity theft. Barty Crouch Jr. literally stole Mad-Eye Moody's entire identity for months. Just think about that for a second. He could have ruined Moody's reputation, destroyed his relationships, committed crimes in his name. It's like deepfake technology on steroids. And we all know how terrible deepfake technology can be. Plus, getting the ingredients is creepy as hell, right? You need someone's hair or their nail clippings. Plus, it takes a month to brew with ingredients that include lacewing flies and leeches. So would I want this? The more I think about it, the more terrifying it becomes. Sure, it might be fun to try being someone else, but the potential for abuse is massive. Anyone could steal your identity, and you'd never know until it was too late. Polyjuice Potion is going in the C tier. Impressive magic, but the implications are disturbing. Next up, the Draught of the Living Death. Now, this potion puts the drinker into such a deep sleep that they appear to be dead, hence the name. It's so powerful that even skilled potioneers struggle with it. Now, we see Harry excel at brewing it in 6th year, but only because he's following Snape's improved notes from the textbook. The ingredients include powdered root of asphodel, an infusion of wormwood, both of which are ingredients that Snape mentions in Harry's very first potions class. Classic Snape, right? Asking first years about one of the most advanced potions they'll ever encounter. Now, in theory, this sounds like it could have medical uses, maybe. Like, think magical anesthesia for serious surgeries, or maybe putting someone in a coma to help them heal from serious trauma. But that's also what makes it terrifying, because one wrong dosage, you might never wake up. There's a reason it's called the Draught of the Living Death and not the Draught of just a really good sleep. You are basically gambling with somebody's life every time you use it. Now, would I want this? Maybe for like a really long flight or to sleep through construction work. Or I just spent a couple days in London and it was like blistering hot, so hot I was uncomfortable and unable to sleep. But honestly, the risk seems way too high. And I'm sure there's less intense options in the wizarding world for just getting a good night's sleep. Plus, there is an episode of Lost where Nikki and Paolo are subjected to a poison that basically does this to them. And everyone thinks they're actually dead. So the people on the island bury them alive. So I'm going to say no thank you to this one. E tier. Now we get to Liquid Luck, Felix Felicis. This is the potion that everyone thinks should be S tier, and I get why, right? Felix Felicis makes everything go your way for about 12 hours. You get perfect instincts, incredible confidence, and circumstances just seem to go in your favor. We see Harry use it to get Slughorn's memory about the Horcruxes, and it works brilliantly. He bumps into Ginny and Dean breaking up, decides to visit Hagrid at exactly the right moment. Everything falls into place. It sounds amazing, right? Take this before a job interview, a first date, buying a lottery ticket. Although, do you think you'd have to take it before buying the lottery ticket or before watching the lottery draw? What if you had Felix Felicis, bought the lottery ticket, but then Felix Felicis wore off before the draw? Could your luck change? And basically, this potion would make you feel invincible. But here's why it's not an S tier potion. Felix Felicis can literally kill you. Take too much and you become recklessly overconfident to the point of danger. Use it too frequently and it becomes toxic. Slughorn specifically warns about both of those things, which suggests that people have died from liquid luck before. Plus, it takes 6 months to brew, requires incredibly rare ingredients. So even if you wanted to use it regularly, you probably couldn't afford to. Plus, let's just all be real for a second. I think it would be impossible to not get addicted to this. Like, you take it and it makes everything go right for you. For 12 hours, everything you do goes perfectly. You're gonna want to take it again and again and again. And that's toxic, as we have covered. So look, Felix Felicis goes in the A tier because it's incredible while it lasts, but the toxicity, the potential for addiction, they keep it from being the perfect potion. So next up is the aging potion. This one temporarily ages you, though it's not entirely clear how it works. We see Fred and George try to use it to get past Dumbledore's age line to enter the Triwizard Tournament, and it spectacularly backfires. They end up with long white beards, they have to go to the hospital wing. Now, they didn't have the beards when they first took the potion. That seemed to be what happened as a result of trying to cross the age line that Dumbledore drew. So the potion itself didn't really seem to age them by appearance, and it certainly didn't age them by maturity. And it wasn't enough to fool the age line. So what does it actually do? Maybe it gives you a pang of arthritis? The aging potion is F tier. It doesn't really do anything, at least as far as we can tell. Right, Skele-gro, the bone regrowing potion. So we see this in action when Lockhart accidentally removes all of the bones from Harry's arm after that Quidditch accident. Madame Pomfrey gives Harry Skele-gro, and over the course of one extremely painful night, his entire arm skeleton regrows from scratch. Think about how incredible that is. This potion can literally rebuild your bones. If you break your leg, shatter your ribs, have any kind of serious bone injury, Skele-gro can fix it completely. In the Muggle world, some bone injuries just never heal properly, but this stuff makes you as good as new. And aren't teeth technically bones? So if a tooth falls out or gets knocked out, in theory, Skele-gro could grow them back. The downside, it's apparently agony. Harry describes it as one of the most painful experiences of his life. Now granted, he hadn't experienced the Cruciatus curse yet, but probably still pretty bad, I reckon. Pain or not, honestly, I'd still want this. Like, imagine never having to worry about breaking bones again. Extreme sports, accidents, fights, none of that would matter because you could just regrow whatever got damaged. The only real limitation is that it takes time, but nowhere near as much time as healing naturally would take. This is an S tier potion. If this became available, it would be world-changing. So now we get to Veritaserum, the truth serum. 3 drops of this colourless, odorless potion, and you will spill your deepest secrets without even realizing it. And the fact that it's colorless and odorless means it's basically undetectable. We see it used on Barty Crouch Jr. after he's unmasked, and he confesses to everything, helping Voldemort return, impersonating Mad-Eye Moody, putting Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire. So the applications for this potion are mind-blowing, right? You could use it in court cases, police investigations, or even just to settle little arguments. No more wondering if politicians are lying. They probably are, but now you can make sure. No more false confessions, no more he said, she said situations. It's like a lie detector, except people can fool those. People can't fool Veritaserum, though there is apparently an antidote, according to Dumbledore, and apparently Slughorn has been carrying one around. The other downside is that there's a grey area when it comes to truth. Like, people will tell their version of the truth, which isn't necessarily objective reality. Like, there have been studies upon studies done about people saying they remember something because they've been influenced by things without realizing it, and those memories are kind of like false memories. Huge details are changed and they think they're being truthful. At the same time, there is a massive ethical problem with Veritaserum. Like, do we really want to live in a world where anyone can be forced to reveal their private thoughts? Like, what about the right to remain silent? What about people's deepest, most personal secrets? Like, the Ministry of Magic apparently doesn't use it in trials, which suggests even they recognize that it can be problematic. Though knowing the Ministry, they probably just don't want their corruption exposed. So would I want this? Part of me says yes. Like, imagine finally getting honest answers about everything. Imagine going into debates leading into big elections and every person debating has to take a truth potion beforehand. It's game-changing. But the other part of me thinks that there is so much scope for abuse of this potion. Just like many other potions that we have discussed in this video, Veritaserum goes in the A tier. Like, it's incredibly powerful. It would literally change the world, but it would need super tight regulation. And the problem is that regulation would come from arguably the most corrupt people, politicians. I'm talking myself out of it. Maybe it's B tier instead. Next up is Pepperup Potion. This one is beautifully simple. It cures colds and the flu instantly. We see it used at Hogwarts when students get sick, and it works perfectly every time. The only side effect is that steam comes out of your ears for a few hours, which is embarrassing, but it's hardly a deal breaker, right? Would you rather not be able to breathe and have a temperature and feel dreadful for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Or a bit of steam come out of your ears for a few hours? Although I have held my hand above a kettle while it's boiling at times. Steam can burn you. Hopefully there's like a protective enchantment around their ears when that happens. For real though, think about how useful this would be in real life. No more sick days, no more feeling miserable with a blocked nose. You know when you sit there and you can't breathe out your nose and you're like, I really take this for granted. I will not take this for granted anymore. And then when you're better, you start taking it for granted again. No more spreading germs to everyone around you. You just drink some Pepperup Potion and you're instantly better. Like, during flu season, this would be worth its weight in gold. Older people who have compromised immune systems, this would be an absolute game changer for them. Just imagine never having to suffer through a cold again, or being able to cure your kids when they bring home every bug from school. And the ear steam kind of actually charming when you think about it. It's like the potion is literally steaming the illness out of you. And compared to the side effects of most other potions we've talked about, toxicity, pain, potential death, a bit of steam, not that big of a deal. So would I want this? Yes. Obviously, yes. I would keep bottles of this stuff everywhere. I already have like 400 boxes of like allergy medication and painkillers for headaches all around my house, so I'd be all over this. It's not flashy magic, but sometimes the best magic is the kind that solves everyday problems. Pepperup Potion goes in S tier. It's practical, it's reliable, it's life-changing for pretty much everyone. Okay, Wolfsbane Potion. This one is life-changing for werewolves. Like, without it, they transform into vicious, uncontrollable beasts every full moon. But with it, they keep their human mind during that transformation. They're still wolves physically, but they're aware of who they are, and they won't attack people. And we see how important this is with Lupin, right? Snape brews it for him throughout The Prisoner of Azkaban, allowing him to safely teach at Hogwarts. Until the one time that Lupin forgets to take it, and he's pretty much willing to attack Sirius, Harry, Hermione, anybody around him. So just think about what this means for werewolves and their rights and integration in the Wizarding Society. Before Wolfsbane, werewolves were basically forced to live as outcasts. Even with Wolfsbane, they kind of are, because there are prejudiced people in the Ministry. But in theory, with Wolfsbane being readily available, they could hold down jobs, they could maintain relationships, they can live relatively normal lives. Like, I'm not sure how many other side effects to werewolf transformation there are, right? Pain, maybe? But generally speaking, if you can keep your mind during your transformation, that makes it basically just being an involuntary animagus, right? You just become a werewolf with a human brain once a month. People might start becoming werewolves just because they can. Because they get to be a cool wolf, but they're not a danger to themselves or anybody around them. Apart from the obvious prejudices of people like Umbridge and the laws that she introduced, if you take away the dangerous aspect of werewolves, there's no need for them to be outcasts. The downsides are that it's incredibly difficult to brew, requires very precise timing, and apparently it tastes disgusting. Plus, you have to take it every day leading up to the full moon, so one mistake ruins the whole cycle. Would I want this? Well, I'm not a werewolf, so it's pretty useless to me. But if I were, this would literally be the difference between being a monster who can't control myself and being a human. So Wolfsbane, I think, has to go, it's between B and A. I think it goes in A tier. Like, it might not help most people, but for those who need it, it's everything. Granted, in real life, there are no werewolves, so nobody needs it. And finally, the Elixir of Life from the Philosopher's Stone. This is it. It's the ultimate potion. Drink this regularly, and you become immortal. Not only that, but the stone also turns any metal into pure gold. So you'd have unlimited wealth to go with your eternal life. Do I need to say anything more? Nicholas Flamel lived for over 600 years using this stuff. Like, think about what you could do with that much time. Learn every language, master every skill, see the world changing over centuries. You could witness the rise and fall of civilizations, maybe even see humanity reach the stars. And unlike other powerful potions, this one doesn't seem to have terrible side effects. Apart from, you know, murderous psychopaths trying to steal it from you. But that was only when it went into Dumbledore's care. Flamel lived a peaceful, happy life in Devon with his wife. So he lived forever, he was happy, and he had excellent taste in where to live, since Devon is the best county. The only real downside is philosophical, right? Would immortality eventually become boring? People argue they wouldn't want to live forever. I don't understand it, but they say there's a beauty in the finality of life, right? But I don't really see the downside of this version. He shares it with his wife, so she ages with him. People say they wouldn't want to live forever because they'd see everyone they love die. Not with the Elixir of Life, just share it. Anybody you love can be immortal with you. Plus the argument that eventually, if you were immortal, the sun would consume the earth and you'd just be left floating around in space. But that's not a problem either. You just stop taking the Elixir of Life and you'll have some time to set your affairs in order, but you then just die peacefully and naturally. It is the greatest thing the wizarding world has to offer. Honestly, I don't know why people are fighting over the Elder Wand for centuries. Fight over this! The Philosopher's Stone, the Elixir of Life, it goes in the S tier. It's literally the closest thing to perfect magic. One potion I didn't talk about in this video was the Horcrux potion that Voldemort keeps in the cave to protect the locket. But I did make a video breaking down exactly what that was and how Voldemort made it, so you can check that video out here next. There are some really fun details in there.